What's up, Facebook and YouTube? Brother Sanchez speaking.
RFG Chosen one.
What y'all thought it was over, baby? Can't no disagreement stop this.
Absolutely not.
So now we're gonna address these recent videos that we both put out, and we was in a disagreement. But we're men, people. Exactly. We don't allow disagreements to stop what we're trying to do, because it's bigger than disagreement, and it's bigger than us. And it's all about unity, especially for our African people. We can't let conflicts come between the mission.
Especially this time in the world right now, you know.
Man, preach on it, because I done seen a lot of brothers in the conscious community break up and make less of an impact than what they could have made had they worked together.
Exactly.
So that ain't gonna be me and my brother Fake right here, man. We done helped too many people on our channel.
Yep.
And we're gonna continue to do that. So we're gonna get right into the disagreements that we had and try to get some validity out of it, because it was just misunderstanding, people. And I don't know everything, and my brother tell you all the time that, you know, he don't know everything. We all learning. He know a hell of a lot now, but nobody knows everything. So with this video, we're gonna address those disagreements, and it's gonna be a lot of knowledge and information that's gonna come out of here. So one thing that I'm gonna set the stage off by saying is that interracial relationships. I know that's a sensitive subject. That's why we're doing this series on it, and we're gonna put it all on the table, how we exactly feel about them, the harm of them, or perhaps the good of them.
Yeah.
Who knows? All I know is that they exist, and that we gotta look past it, because there's a lot of African men out there who started families with Hispanics or different group of races, and you can't expect them to walk out on their family and leave their children.
And yeah, that's who I forgot to address, because a lot of people don't understand that. Me in particular, you know, when you look at me, there's no way I can possibly be against interracial dating people, because I am a result of one, okay? My father is what you call Afro-Colombian, but if you trace his family lineage back, you know, he has white Spaniard DNA running in his veins, okay? So, I mean, there's no way I can be against love has no color, because like I said, I was a result of an interracial relationship. But my whole take on the whole subject was that our media, our Zionist government, is not promoting that agenda, you know what I mean, for a good purpose, for a good reason. That was my whole take and my whole perception of it, why I made those two videos.
And I'm glad that you said that, because there's some things I want to ask you about that also. When you say that our Zionist Jewish government is not promoting it for a good reason, I can agree with that, because it's very rarely that they promote something that's for the good of the people. However, these relationships aren't going to go anywhere anytime soon. Now, I do understand that there may be some things about interracial dating that don't sit well with a lot of people. However, what my point was in the video that I made, my brother, was that damn near every race across the globe is a result of interbreeding.
Exactly.
And there's some beautiful cultures across this globe.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to go out there and get you a woman of another race. I'm saying that if you happen to fall in love with a woman of another race, then I'm not going to judge you for that.
Exactly. And that's the same agenda that I'm trying to push as well. You know.
And for the record, y'all, I love black women, okay? All my life I've dated black women, all right? I'm just put that out there for the record, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you look at my other video, you can see the name of the video is I Won't Stop, So Stop Hating. And that's a video where I said I was getting a lot of backlash for being in what you call, quote unquote, interracial relationship. I can get into that, but I'm gonna make a whole nother video in the future with everything you need to know about me, my whole life story. So with that being said, we're gonna move on and we're gonna discuss some stuff about interracial dating that we disagreed with. And one of the things I disagreed with my brother on, first of all, let's talk about the God gene. The thing about the God gene is, I agree that there's a special gene, but the question I have for you, and I'm looking for you to help me out, because I don't know everything, is is that gene limited to one group of people since we all come from Africa? And should we call it the God gene, or are we calling it that for lack of better words?
You hit the nail right on the head. It is technically, it's not supposed to be referred to as a God gene. That name was given to us by, you know what I mean, our own oppressors. Okay, so when I tried to use this analogy, like if you take out a jet black piece of typing paper and you put it in a copy machine and you get 3 copies of that paper, you see what I'm saying? Their genetic structure is not going to be as potent as the original copy of paper. Okay, so what I was saying is, if you go down the line 800 to 1,000 years with people with males not interbreeding with, you know, melanated women, okay, eventually that mitochondrial DNA would be completely worn out. You understand? Because an African woman in Africa or a melanated woman in America, she can produce any other race on this planet. Okay, you guys can research this yourself.
I got a question. I don't mean to cut you off, because we all know that the African woman produced every culture that we see on the planet today.
Yeah. My
question is, at some point on the earth, there was just one race. How do we get all of these races? We do know that for the most part it was intermixing.
Yeah.
How did this start? Who was there to intermix with when there was only one race on the planet? Now that's a question I've been trying to figure out for years.
This is going to a reference that I hold him in high reverence. He's a man named Alex Collier, and he stated, okay, he worked in underground military bases as well, just like Phil Schneider, and he stated that there was 22 different entities, different races of beings, of intelligent beings on this planet that we are all a result of some kind of intermixing somewhere down along the line. Nobody's blood is extremely 100% pure, people. Due to intermixing with the children of the Moors, who are me and you, due to intermixing, okay, we can't tap into the same energies that the Africans in Africa can tap into right now, because like I said, the Zionist government is hitting us with chemtrails, fluoride in the tap water. Okay, they want us to hate ourselves, and they're killing us off with the incarceration system. Okay, and this is happening right now as we speak. This is no joke.
That makes sense. And to iterate on what you said on my video that I did on it, I actually said that we are all hybrids.
Yeah.
So that's correct according to what you said. And I know you didn't watch all of the series, but I actually said that. So to my understanding, we interbred with different entities. And that makes perfect sense when you look at the skulls and compare them throughout the history. There was some skulls that don't even look human.
Exactly.
But humanoid features.
Exactly.
And we also know that our ancestors were giants at one point.
When you look at some of the skulls of these ancient people, just pay attention to the back portion of the skull, which is going to show a larger portion of we in the hood we call it a hook head. Okay, that just means that the pineal gland is elongated. So when you look at that, and you just look at the melanin concentrations in the bones, okay, you know that these people, it had to be something special about these people, man.
And another thing I want to say too, based on that, we still see the elongated skulls coming out of Ethiopia.
Oh yeah.
Today. And the Ethiopians are the worst treated people on the planet.
And what's being covered up by scientists and archaeologists, okay, is the black people in America and our connection to the people in Ethiopia. Because if you look at the pictures of the pharaohs in Egypt, those aren't normal Negroid, quote-unquote, features on their face, people. I'm telling you, a lot of people have to understand that the same people giving us this knowledge are the Egyptologists who are funded by the same people who are oppressing us, people. When you look at a rapper look like Tupac, and you look at another rapper like Young Buck and Nas and Pharrell, and you look at their facial features, and they match the Egyptian pharaohs like 100%. This is not a joke, it's not a game, because we as a people were actually given a privilege over the other Africans, and that privilege was actually kept in something called the Ark of the Covenant. And that is why it is being held in America at a secret military base in Nevada called Area 51. Okay?
Now, that's deep. A lot of people gonna probably give you flack on that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something. That sounds very interesting, and it's gonna cause me to do more research. When you say that we were given power over the Africans in the motherland, I got two questions, and we're gonna start talking about that a minute. Why were we given power over them? Did they do something wrong for us to rule them? And also, if they were the mothers and fathers of humanity and they created all of these civilizations and great structures, they gave us all the knowledge we got. When you look at Egypt, what happened for us to now be over them? Or are we the same people?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because now, okay, just me looking at your profile and looking at because I'm a visual person, you know what I mean? I analyze everything. When I look at your skull and I look at your last name, which is what is Paris? Okay, that goes back to the Black Moors in France, who actually created not only the French language, but the French language, the Spanish language, and the Portuguese language. People,
wow.
Go look up that. So me and this brother right here, we have Moorish lineage that goes straight back to Kemet, people. So like I'm saying, when you look at us and you look at the Ethiopians, we're basically in the same predicament right now. And if you look at some of the statues of the ancient rulers, we damn near all have the same facial features.
I agree with that.
So, and even when you go back to, are we the same people that were given the power? Yeah, we're the reincarnated souls of the people who lost that power. When you look at a Tupac, I'm getting ready to blow a lot of people's minds now. Tupac, in my humble opinion, is the reincarnation of the pharaoh Akhenaten.
I knew you were going to say Akhenaten, man. You weren't killed for no reason.
Oh,
man.
no.
I do believe in reincarnation. I do believe we are infinite energy.
Yeah.
I do believe that we're the same souls that's been on this planet with the same situation.
Yep.
The question is, how the hell do we break this cycle? Because I tell you, man, my motive is to aid my people into getting where we need to be, so that this earth itself can be liberated.
Exactly.
Okay? I don't think everybody got the same philosophy on how to do that, but after a long time of researching and going through many transitions of philosophies and beliefs, I've come to the conclusion that it's going to take a collective effort of humanity to do this.
Exactly. We can't, people, and that's another thing. I'm all about black people loving themselves, loving each other, getting together and uniting. But we cannot do anything on a global scale without the help of different kinds of people. You understand what I'm saying? Those are our children. You see? We're all one human family, okay?
I tell people that all the time. I say that the African woman is the mother of humanity. So how did we reach the point where now she wants to separate from her children?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And that's a good question that a lot of conscious people don't like to deal with.
Yeah.
But it's a good question with somebody who's trying to genuinely seek truth that I want to know. I question everything. She gave birth to every civilization we see. if that means we're family and her being the mother, how did we end up
trying to separate ourselves from our children? We could thank the Nation of Islam and other agents like Minister Louis Farrakhan that promote hatred, and more hatred. And as you know, according to the walls of Kemet, the more hatred and animosity in your heart, the more you're going to stay weighed down, keep reincarnating over and over, you know?
I tell people that all the time. I say, at some point we gotta come face to face with the ancestors in the afterlife. Ain't no doubt about it, because we're the children. They responsible for our souls.
Yep.
They transition before us.
Exactly.
And when you look at the pyramid walls in Kemet, when you learn about Ma'at, it say there's no way you can pass through the underground without your heart being light as a feather. And that's why I always say that there's a reason for the anger that the media is trying to instill in us.
Exactly.
Even if we say that, okay, it's fucked up what's going on with our people, we still wouldn't be able to fight the problem without having a clear head,
clear conscience,
and being focused.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and in my videos, I don't think, well, I couldn't cover everything in a certain amount of time, but that's one thing that I wish I would have covered, you know? We cannot, us having the power as black people in America, us being the rulers of the world and falling as low as we've fallen, okay, we're gonna have to get rid of a lot of animosity that was forced on us for the past 600 years. And that's not easy, people. I'm gonna lay it on the table right now.
It's not.
I'm not a god. You know what I'm saying? I'm a human on the planet who was given wisdom that not a lot of other people have been had the privilege to do. But what I'm saying is we have to come together on a united front, okay, and drop hatred and animosity. But we one thing is true: we have to love ourselves before we love anybody else. But okay, we cannot do anything or make any global impact or change without getting involved with our children, with other races, okay?
Now when you say, for example, if I was a father and I had some children, we're going to use this example in relation with the other quote-unquote races,
okay,
who are our children. Now we say we got to love ourselves first. Shouldn't the children be included in that ourselves? Now that's a good question, because most time when you hear that from a lot of black conscious people, they say we gotta love ourselves before we love anybody else.
Yeah.
I say that the ourselves includes everybody else. To me, I always say this, that it's the powers versus the powerless. It's the haves versus the have-nots.
Yeah.
And when we look at the powers, they are united.
That's
okay?
True.
It's some people in every culture
race
that's a member of these secret societies, and that's in these elite boy clubs that's controlling the fate of our children.
Yeah.
However, they feed the have-nots propaganda to keep us divided. So when I hear statements like we gotta love ourselves first, I wonder who the ourselves mean. Because I used to say that myself in relation to, hey man, us black people gotta love ourselves before we think about anybody else. But when we say that, as a father who would have children, it's like saying to his wife, for lack of better words or whatever, we gotta love ourselves before we love the children or something. If we say every race is our children, shouldn't we include them in that?
You're 100% right, and my answer to that would be our children have to understand and grasp that they are our children. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
That's my whole take on that. And to you Hispanics out there, okay, let me clear all doubts. The word Latino and Hispanic is nothing but light-skinned Negro.
That's it, and I go so far as to say this. The word Hispanic did not exist until the mid-1900s.
Yep.
And guess what Hispanics was called before that, my brother?
Africans.
Afro-Mexicans. So what you got around the world, and I encourage everybody to go look at my videos, Black vs. African, the identity crisis.
Yep.
It's 2 videos, check them out. And I tell y'all how we became blacks. Because at first we was Africans. Everybody had African somewhere in their name.
Oh yeah.
And over time we see that nobody want to identify with Africa, but Africa was the motherland that connected all of her children together.
Exactly.
Now everybody for self now.
Yep.
And like I say, it's gonna take a collective effort. Just like the powers that be got a collective effort going on and fucking us up.
Yep.
We gotta come together eventually, people.
Yep.
And I know that's hard for a lot of people to grasp, because as a black man, when you see a Hispanic man or an Asian man or a Latino man or any kind of man that got some against African people, you say, well, fuck them too, because I'm African. But they're ignorant, just like a lot of our black people has been fed propaganda to be ignorant. Because I got an uncle, man.
Yeah.
I went to my uncle one day, brother, and I said, man, look, we Africans. My uncle looked me in the eye and say, don't you never call me no goddamn African. I ain't no African, I'm an American.
See, now
and that hurt my heart.
That's an abomination, people. That's an abomination. When you look at the Zulu, and you look at the Dogon, and you look at, like we said, the Ethiopians, especially the Ethiopians, okay? You might as well call the Ethiopians Moors, because the black people in America are all Moors. So we're all one family. We're all one collective family, people. So when you denounce that, you're denouncing the motherland. You're denouncing your mother.
I want to talk about something sensitive too. What you said make a lot of sense, man. Because this showing a lot of people that, hey, disagreements don't end a brotherhood. So with that being said, it's a lot of things we disagreed with each other. Now we seeing we didn't really disagree. It was just a misunderstanding.
Yep.
And I take most of the blame for that, because I misinterpreted a lot of what you were saying, and I just wanted to make a video to have my own viewpoints on the matter. Now, what I'm gonna say is this: one thing I want you to touch on, and I'm gonna touch on it with you, about the black woman being God. Now, here's what I have to say about that, and I'm not trying to get into semantics either.
Okay.
When we say the black woman is God, to me, by saying that, it assists in our ignorance and keeps us further from the truth. And the reason why I say that, now I'm not hacking you for that, because man, I used to say that a hell of a lot. But I'm saying that we've been given a lot of statements like that to keep us in ignorance, and I'm gonna explain to you why right now. Now, on the black woman being God, what I have about it is, I'm not trying to get into wordplay and semantics. I totally understand what you mean by saying that the African woman is the creator of all humanity, the mother of all humanity. But by saying the black woman is God, first of all, we use the word black, which I use a lot myself. That's something that's hard to get out of your vocabulary, just like the word nigga.
Exactly.
I say nigga sometimes. That ain't good to say. But we say these words for lack of better words.
Yeah, exactly.
When we say the black woman is God, to me, I tell the people who say that all the time that a more accurate way to put it would be the African woman is the mother of all humanity.
Exactly.
Because by saying the black woman is God, we identify with a Crayola color, and takes us away from our African roots by saying black. And not only that, when we say God, we refer to her in a masculine manner.
Exactly.
Because women are goddesses. So I say the African woman is a goddess.
Exactly.
We are all gods and goddesses. And when we say the black woman is God, what I see now going on in the black conscious community is a lot of people actually worshiping the black woman. Now, I really don't got a lot against that, but I do have some things against it. I'm going to tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. There should be a line drawn between worshiping something or object or entity, between worshiping a thing and paying divine respect to a thing.
Exactly.
For example, our ancestors didn't worship the sun.
No.
People like the lie to say the Kemetic people worship the sun. They didn't worship the sun. They paid divine respect to it.
Sun.
Just like the animals in the morning, the roosters crow.
Exactly.
Every morning they give respect to Ra when it rises. So by worshiping the sun, you miss the entire universe.
Yep.
See what I'm saying, people? By worshiping the black woman, what we do is we don't see the entire creation.
Exactly.
We focus on one entity as the object of worship as opposed to the entire creation. The black woman comes together with the black man and creates the black family. The family, to me, is the manifestation of God.
Exactly.
The whole unit.
The whole picture.
Like I said in my video, the woman may be the yin and the man may be the yang, but the creator is the complete symbol.
Exactly.
Okay? So the creator of the universe can't be confined to one sex.
Just like when you go to war, you're not going to be calling upon a feminine god, people. When you, okay, there's different deities and different universal energies that either have a masculine energy or a feminine energy. Just like if I have a spouse or a wife that's going through childbirth, I'm not going to be calling upon a masculine god, okay? Mm-hmm. That's basically just goes down to common sense.
And that's what I mean by it, because what you see when we say the black woman is God, is that she accepts the title, and a lot of people may not agree with what I'm about to say, but by becoming God, she actually becomes a little bit more masculine and more authority over the man. I'm not saying that the African woman shouldn't have authority over the man, because the first thing you meet in your life is mama. Okay, yeah. That's your teacher. That is a deity.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to the people is that there are many deities, and none of these deities are the creator of the universe.
Exactly.
The one that's spinning this earth around and creating them new galaxies out there. So when we focus on one aspect of the yin yang and we say the yin is God, you miss the entire picture.
Exactly.
Our ancestors paid divine respect to not only the woman, but to the child, to the air, to the trees, to the animals, to the moon, the sun, the planets, because they understood the holistic picture of the universe.
Exactly.
And we got to get back to that, because in my opinion, at the rate we going on this beautiful earth, man, which is truly a heaven and a paradise, this earth ain't gonna be around for too much longer if we continue on with the way we going. And with everybody being divided and going within themselves, saying, well, you know, I'm for my people, well, I'm for my people, I'm for my people, we all gonna be separated, but we will have no planet in the future to have all of these arguments on. Our children got to inherit this hellhole we call the earth.
Exactly.
And we got to learn to play together, because it's bigger than one group of people. I say this analogy, and a lot of people may call it corny or may not agree, but there are many crayons in a crayon box. Each one have their own name and their own color, but they all share the same box.
That's a good analogy.
And that's how I look at it, man.
I mean, it's really crazy, you know, what's going on, because when you talk about racial pride in itself, okay, you have to understand that there has to be balance, people, okay? It's okay to have racial pride, but you have to still vision the big picture and understand that we are all one collective human family, okay? That's basically all I got on that subject.
Let's talk about quote-unquote white people for a minute. Now, we both know that there are some melanated white people.
Oh yeah.
Who got melanin.
If you look at the Greeks, when you look at their facial features and their hair, where does that come from, people? That comes from Kemet, and Cleopatra was basically the first product on a large scale of interracial mixing. Okay, as far as ancient rulers. And you know, after that, after the Ptolemies rule over Egypt, you saw a lot of more mixing with Africans and Greeks. So, the southern piece of Italy, you Sicilian people who, you know, still want to be on your whole racist tip, a lot of you are blacker than me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Talking about, oh, he's N-word this, N-word that.
Yeah.
Man, we gotta wake up, people.
We got to, because one thing that we was touching on before we started filming was the fact of how the interbreeding made all the races that we see. But to go deeper into that, everywhere we go on every continent, we see a light-skinned form of people.
Exactly.
But we see the darker predecessors on that land.
Yep.
For example, in Asia, you got light-skinned Asians.
Yep.
But what they ain't telling y'all is that it's some Asians that's been on the continent of Asia for fucking the beginning of time, who's dark as hell and their eyes are like this.
There's 100 million, you might as well call them Africans in China right now. 100 million Africans, dark-skinned Africans in China right now. And why isn't the media broadcasting that to us?
Yep.
They have an agenda, people.
Even when we look at places like Australia, we see that people think, when you hear the word Australian, I think of a white man hopping on the back of a crocodile. But what they ain't telling us is it's Australian people over there who jet black.
Yep.
With blonde hair and blue eyes.
Dravidian. Yep.
Now that's deep. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It show you how
diverse.
Every race got some similarities with one another.
Yep.
Traces of every race can be found in every race. Because I was looking through some of the pictures of the Olmec heads, and some of those heads got very obvious Asian features.
Oh yeah.
A lot of those Olmec heads, if you look at the Olmec heads on some of them statues, the eyes are like this on a lot of those Olmec statues. They would look like what I would call Taiwanese or something like that.
Yeah.
That goes back to a question that I always had, and I haven't researched this enough, but what is the Asiatic black man exactly?
The Asiatic black man is the descendant of the Olmecs, because when they traveled to the Polynesian islands, okay, the Polynesians are our children as well. You see what I'm saying? They intermixed with certain Caucasoids and created the whole like civilization on the Samoan, Filipino, Hawaiian, Fiji, New Zealand islands. Okay, and they gave those islands their whole population. And like I said in the previous video, they even went to Japan and showed the Japanese the way of the samurai, which is the samurai. Okay. And it delves in really deep. If you want more information on that subject, I highly advise people to tune into the Hidden Colors DVDs, to purchase the Hidden Color DVDs.
That's a great one right there. I watched it myself. That's something every conscious African people need to see. I had to prove that.
Yeah.
Hidden Colors is deep, man.
Oh yeah.
A lot of things that we said in our videos, we touched on electromagnetic aura fields.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna say this for the record. I don't know everything about that. All I know is that we do all have an aura and an electromagnetic aura field, so does the earth. My thing is there a distinction among our brothers and sisters of varied races amongst the aura field that we had based on our parents?
I'm glad you brought this up, because this is another one of my favorite subjects, and actually I'm gonna do a future lecture and video on Bruce Lee, and then another one on the whole Star Wars episodes, and this delves into that. Basically, well, a lot of people try to deny this, but the melanin particle is known throughout the world as the God particle. So there's two, but see, here's what people don't understand and what people are being misled by. There's two melanin counts in humans' bodies, people. There's a melanin count in your skin, and then there's a melanin count in your DNA, in your whole body, in your DNA that's produced by your pineal gland.
Now, question before you go on. Are these two melanin types distinctive from one another?
Yeah.
So you can have So for the record, everybody who might not be aware, some people have more melanin in the skin than in the DNA, and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, which one is more better? For example, if I ask you the question, would you rather have more melanin in your skin or in your DNA? Obviously, the DNA, or
that's a very good question. Me personally, I'd rather have it balanced because a person like me, I believe I have a lot of melanin concentration in my DNA, but I don't have as much in my skin. So a person like me, I'd probably be able to astro travel, go out of space, but I'm not sure if I would be able to go certain distances or go, through stars, certain distances and circumferences of stars.
Now, speaking on astro travel, I want to get off the subject a little. I actually astro traveled in my life before. I've done it one time, and every time I tried to do it since then, I just can't do it. I talked to a lady at the psychic shop where I get my crystals from, and she told me that don't force it.
Exactly.
Now, when I first astro traveled, I practiced a ritual that I found online, and it actually worked. I was outside of my body, but when I realized that I was astro traveling, I got scared and immediately closed my eyes to wake myself back up. I got scared, brother, because when I did it, I was experimenting, trying to see if it was actually real.
Okay.
And when I found out it was real, I found out later when I looked in a forum that a lot of people did the same thing I did. When they found out for the first time, the lady told me that for the first time, you're going to be scared.
Exactly. It's always like that. Like, first time swimming, I had a huge fear of water. And when I became conscious, I got to thank the 13th son, because he stated, if you're not one with the water, it's impossible to be one with the creator. And I had to teach myself how to swim over a 3-year span. Okay.
Hey man, you know what? I took you off track a minute ago. You was breaking down an electromagnetic aura field.
The swimming goes into that because when you look at the flow of water, you're not really talking about anything but the flow of electromagnetic energy, and that's why all these pyramids across the planet, these scientists are going under them and finding rivers, flowing water under the pyramids.
That's deep, man.
Yeah,
that's real deep. Another thing I want to mention, you brought up the 13th son, and I be on your channel a lot. I noticed that a lot of people give you flack.
Oh yeah.
Because of the 13th son.
Oh yeah.
They like to call him the 13th bomb. A lot of people don't like the brother, but what I'm gonna tell you is this. Me personally, I've learned a lot from the 13th son, and I really have nothing bad to say about anybody that's trying their best to deliver truth and knowledge, to the people.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
Exactly.
We all gonna grow together.
Yep.
I tell y'all that all the time on this channel, that I'm your brother. I'm brother Sanchez. This is your brother. We all brothers. Now when we talk about the 13th son, there's some things I agree and disagree with the 13th son. Hey man, I got a foundation that's based on the studies of plenty master teachers.
Yep.
Most of them the same ones he got. Phil Valentine, Delbert Blair, Amos Wilson, Dr. Barashango, Layla Africa,
Francis Cress Wilson,
Jewel Pukram, Runoko Rashidi, Dr. Aisha Hillard. If you only got one, you missed the entire thing. You got to get it from them all.
Yep.
Now, all of them don't agree with each other, but it ain't about that. It's about you getting the knowledge from them all and basing your own thesis from it.
Exactly. Taking the pieces and then putting together your own conclusion.
So in that case, nobody have the same reality, but the moment we all share the same reality, that's what I call religion.
Exactly. And think about it, people. If we were all the same and we all agreed on every single topic on the planet, how boring would this world be? Come on, man.
It'd be a robotic world, man. I'm a fan of saying that every civilization and every color, which are our brothers and sisters, has something to contribute to society.
Oh yeah.
I love my heritage and who I am, and I don't expect nobody else to hate who they are. But what I always said was the one thing that connects humanity is Africa.
Oh yeah.
The birthplace of humanity.
Exactly.
You know, that's the same example I use if a woman have 6 children, all about 6 different daddies. The one thing that will connect those 6 children is that mama.
Exactly.
You know,
and see, I want a lot of people to go research the Falasha tribe and the Lima tribe in Ethiopia. I'm gonna say that again. The Falasha tribe and the Lima tribe. Those 2 tribes, okay, are direct descendants of the black people in America because both of us were ruling in Kemet. Like I said, we're going to post pictures of the faces of the pharaohs and compare them with Ethiopian and African American people. So basically what I'm trying to push is, I want people to take baby steps, okay? I understand we have about 4 more years until the New World Order, and we're gonna have to work fast, people, okay? We're gonna have to change pretty fast on the large scale of things. So just know you cannot truly love anybody else unless you love yourself first. But you cannot make any kind of global change or impact the world, okay, unless you understand your position in a global perspective. And you have to have love for your children all over the world, okay? We have to take responsibilities as the mothers and fathers of civilization. With great power comes great responsibility.
When you say we gotta love ourselves first, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
And I want to make that clear for the record. The thing that I always say is we have to identify who the ourself is.
Yeah.
And we understand that we all related. We all have African ancestry, no matter your quote-unquote race. But I see what the brother's saying when he say ourself, and I do know he know that. We definitely love all of our brothers and sisters across the globe. But the thing that I tell people all the time is that white supremacy is global.
Exactly.
White supremacy, often we think of white supremacy as something that's ran and orchestrated by whites only.
No.
I have to tell people that the illusion of white supremacy is the word white itself.
Actually, you can't have a slave without the slave being compliant in his oppression.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. So you have a group of people known as the Black Boule.